Hello BC Calculus students, this is Mr. Johnson and this is the third video in section 8.1 and we're on example 5 which is in page 10 of your notes. And this example is a geometric sequence. And a geometric sequence is simply a sequence that takes on the form of r to the power of n. So for example, you may have 2 to the n, that's going to be a geometric sequence. You may have 1/2 to the n, that would be a geometric sequence, and anything else that would take on that particular form. So the goal here is that we're going to try to think through what r values cause a geometric sequence to converge versus diverge. So for example, let's say that r is equal to 0, then what you would have is 0 to the n, which of course converges to 0 because each term would be 0. Let's say that r is equal to 1, then you would have 1 to the n, and of course every single term would be 1, so that would converge to 1. If you had, let's say, r equal to negative 1/2, and you had negative 1/2 to the n, if you were to take the limit of that as n goes to infinity, you would get 0, so that would be convergent to 0. Let's say you had r equal to 2, so you have 2 to the n. The limit of that as n goes to infinity would be infinite, so that would diverge. Or let's say you had r equal to negative 1. Then you would have negative 1 to the n. If you remember, I talked about how that was an alternator. You would get negative 1, 1, negative 1, 1, and so on. And so that is going to be divergent as well because it would alternate. So if we were to kind of think through just all sorts of different values and continue the process of guessing and checking, we would get an interval from negative 1 to positive 1 for which r to the n is convergent. But we do not include negative 1 because with negative 1, that would be alternating, that would diverge. However, 1 is convergent, and anything in between negative 1 and 1 would be convergent to 0. Divergent would be everything else. So that would be r is less than or equal to negative 1, or r is greater than 1. Now again, if you kind of think through all of these different possibilities, if you look at the limit as n goes to infinity of r to the n, you're going to get 0 if r is between negative 1 and 1, but not including either 1. You're going to get 1 if r is equal to 1. And so that's how we can analyze a geometric sequence. And I'll give you some examples, of course, but this is a really common type of sequence and one in which you may have to tweak the problem a little bit. And some of the practice problems in section 8.1 show that, and we'll go over some of those. The definition here we're sort of changing gears, the definition of an increasing sequence is that if you analyze a certain term, a sub n, it is less than the next term, a sub n plus 1. It's decreasing if you analyze a term and it is greater than the next term for all n as you work through the sequence. And we've talked about monotonic before, but monotonic means that a particular function or sequence is going to always increase or always decrease. And one of the ways you can test this is to analyze the definition, analyze a particular generic term and the next term, or you can look at the first derivative and determine whether or not it's positive or negative. So I'm going to show you a couple examples of this. So this particular sequence we're analyzing is increasing or decreasing. So if we're looking at, for instance, the a sub n term, that's going to be 3 over n plus 5. If we were to analyze the a sub n plus 1 term, so the next term, it'd be n plus 6, because you would just substitute in n plus 1 plus 5, so you get n plus 6. The question is, which one is larger? Now, the numerator is the same, but the denominator is smaller in the a sub n term, which means that that term is going to be larger than the next term. And if you look back on the definition that's written above here, you can see that if a sub n is larger than a sub n plus 1, then you're going to have a decreasing sequence. Now we could also test the first derivative. I'll show you that on the next example. So for this next example, if we were to analyze this in a similar way that we did example 6, we have the a sub n term and we have the a sub n plus 1 term. And you can see that this is a much harder comparison because we have n's in both the numerator and the denominator. And so the question is, which one is larger than the other? And it's harder to determine that compared to example 6. So in this particular example, we might want to let f of x equal x over x squared plus 1 and look at the first derivative and determine if it's positive or negative. So we have the quotient rule. And if we simplify this down, our first derivative is, let's see, it will be negative x squared plus 1 divided by, I'm not going to expand the denominator, that doesn't really matter. Now keep in mind that the denominator is always greater than 0. And so in this particular case, if n is greater than 1, the derivative is going to be less than 0 because the numerator would be negative, the denominator would be positive. And again, this is for n values greater than 1. We don't really care what happens early on. We care what happens as n goes to infinity. So since n greater than 1 causes the derivative to be negative, then we would say that this is going to be a decreasing sequence. So because a sub n is greater than a sub n plus 1, which is the definition of a decreasing sequence, a sub n equal to n over n squared plus 1 is decreasing. And we're just showing by the first derivative test. Okay, let's kind of put the last couple things together. So this definition says that a sequence is bounded above if there is a number m such that m is larger than any particular term in the sequence itself. So any particular nth term is less than or equal to m. That means it's bounded above. It's bounded below if the value m is less than or equal to any particular nth term. So there's a boundary below or a boundary above. If a sequence is bounded both above and below, it's called a bounded sequence. There's a boundary both as a minimum and as a maximum to the particular sequence. So for example, if you have the sequence a sub n equal to n, it's bounded below by 0, but there is no boundary above it because it can continue just to increase. That would be a divergent sequence. If you have the sequence n over n plus 1, we had done on this one, we had already done the limit of this one earlier in this section where n goes to infinity and you get 1. And so this has a boundary above by 1 and it also has a boundary below by 0. So this is a bounded sequence. And this particular one converges to 1. The statements below are important. So it says not every bounded sequence is convergent. So for example, the alternating sequence we've already discussed a few times. And not every monotonic sequence is convergent. So for instance, this sequence is always increasing, but it says that not every monotonic sequence is convergent. This one does not converge. This one continues to increase to infinity. However, every bounded, so if there's a bounded sequence, that means bounded above and below, and it's monotonic, then it must be convergent. Okay, so we're done here with our examples. And we will have another video on the practice problems in this particular section. But for now, you have finished all the material in your notes for section 8.1. And now we just have some practice problems to learn the material a little bit more completely. Thank you.